Fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one crazy ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. Hashtag one on Facebook.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're for one incredibly awesome and amazing ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. Hashtag one on YouTube. Tonight we have with us Chris Miller. Welcome to the show, Mr. Miller.
How we doing?
Good. So let's talk about your racing career. Where did it begin for you?
Where did it begin for me? Well, it began when I was 6, and my grandparents took me to my first race, and the story was written ever since.
Okay. So when you climbed into a race car for the first time and actually raced, what was it like for you?
It was quite the thrill, I will tell you that. I was finally able to finally race myself. Was it about 10 years ago now?
Okay.
Prior to that, I was able to, be around racing pretty much, obviously, since I was 6. So pretty much my entire life, my 2 cousins raced, so they were, my uncles were my neighbors, and they had the cars. So I was over there watching the cars when I was a kid, just fell in love with it. And, ever since, just being around it, wanted to be more, wanted to be out on the track and whatnot. So
Okay.
about 10 years ago, and it's just been quite the experience.
So Chris, did you have a lot of success out of the gate right away, or did it take you a little while?
No, I mean, some people do have success, right out of the gate. Some don't. I was obviously on my own honestly, I've been on my own every year until, last year. I mean, even so, I was still myself.
Yeah.
But, just out of the gate, got a car that could go around the track and just had fun. That's all racing has ever meant to me, is more or less just having fun. I mean, yes, there's your competitive nature, which will kick in, which does, and it's still, for me, it's all in good fun, competition. I talk to, a lot of the guys I race against, or some I'm very close friends with, and we're just out there having fun.
Okay. So Chris, when you're out there racing, and stuff like that, who do you have for sponsors on your race car?
For the better part of the 10 years, I have been self-funded. It's pretty much all out of pocket. Sponsorships are very, very hard to come by, especially when you're just starting and your name's not out there. They're not gonna want to put their name on someone that's going to be in the back of the field. Like I was the first part of my racing career. But I was lucky enough last year with Matt, and I met him the year prior, and he brought in some sponsors. I've had a couple here and there throughout my career. Nothing real consistent. The only one recently consistent was good all around friend, owns a convenience store in the town I grew up in, and still have to actually ask her for this year, but I'm sure she'll be on for this year again for the 3rd year. It's East Side Market right in Alcott.
Okay.
I haven't had big name sponsors my whole career. I mean, sponsors are nice, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if you're in it, you'll do anything it takes to get that car out on a track.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk about your race car now. When you're out there racing, do you guys have a pretty good group of cars that go out there race as far as field wise? Is it, you have like 20 cars a night or more?
Well, so I've raced a good handful of race cars in the last 10 years. I've raced the mini stocks, which I raced last year. Obviously, you know that. And the mini stocks have been the majority of my race career. I've been in and out of a mini stock several times. I've been in and out of a go-kart a couple times. I tried my hand at a 600 micro last year. Those are fun. And I've also raced a Northeast modified Sportsman 602 crate car.
Okay.
So I've and a lot of the guys that I'm around say that, you know, even though I'm one of the younger ones, I've got more experience, whichever way you look at it, it's true. Because, you know, they say the more cars you drive, the more rounded of a driver you are, which the time I spent in that go-kart, I wish I would have started in a go-kart.
Okay.
Go-karts teach you a lot. I mean, every car I've driven has taught me. I can't talk tonight. Has taught me something that I can use for any car, really. As much as people think they're different, they're all the same. They're just, the only difference is obviously between a mini stock front wheel drive and a Sportsman, it's front wheel and rear wheel. But
Yeah.
it's a race car nonetheless, and they kind of act similar. And I can say that because I've driven both. But
So,
like the mini stocks, from the time I started till now, till last year, it's been a pretty decent field. Anywhere from a dozen to, and I've seen mini stock have 2 features a night here in Ransomville. They had 40 cars. It was only probably about 8 years ago when that many cars were in there. And then last year with the micro, I raced at another local track about an hour and a half away in Lime Rock. There's generally about just a handful, probably 8 at most, just depending on the night. It's kind of out there, but there's only a select few micro tracks in the state. And then as far as the Sportsman went, I raced that in 2016 in the novice class, which I'll get to that here soon. Back in 2016, we had, I think, probably about a dozen or so cars in that field when I was racing. And then, as you know, last year, I raced the mini stock actually last year was supposed to be what I'm supposed to be. What I'm driving this year was supposed to be last year, but the car never got put together, and time and money and whatnot. And a good friend of mine I met a few years back, Tony, his daughter passed away, and I real close with Tony, so I really wanted to race in his daughter's race. So, and then you know, I met Matt the year before, and I had my eyes focused on my Sportsman, which I'm racing this year, because I know he had a couple of cars, and I asked him if I could just drive it for the one race, and you know, just so I could be in that race, and then, you know, turn my focus to try to get the Sportsman car put together. Well, push come to shove, I did so well. He's like, "Yeah, you want to go next week? You go next week?" Yeah, sure. So that's how last year happened.
okay.
With everything that happened last year, but yeah. Sorry,
Alrighty.
I was rambling.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk. Okay. What's the story behind your race car number now?
A lot of people ask me that, and it's pretty cut and dry, I say. So obviously, like I had said before, you know, I've been around racing a long time. Both, I have 2 cousins that were racing when I was a kid. And, the first one started, my cousin John, he had number 9.
Okay.
And a few years later, his brother came in, and his number is 99.
Okay.
So when it came to me starting to think, oh, hey, I want to, go racing. What's my number going to be? Well, now this was a while ago.
Okay.
I was going to be the 999 just to continue the
Oh
nine
yeah.
theme. And then as I got a little older, and I'm like, that's a lot of vinyl. That's a lot of space.
True.
So I decided to shorten it up, and I knew John had retired in 2013, I think was his final year. But I think I had decided on my number before that anyways. But that's how 9 Junior came about. Was I was going to take his number, and instead of taking his number, like as it is, put the junior on it, because I'm the next younger Miller
Yeah.
in line. So my son is actually going to be 99 Junior when I finally get him in a go-kart. So we're going to kind of start the trend all over again, I guess, if you will.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk now. Okay. How many feature wins do you have under your belt? 1. Okay.
That came in 2016 when I was racing the Novice Sportsman.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk now about what's the worst thing you've had happen to you as a race car driver? You there, Chris?
Yeah, something came up on my screen.
Oh,
It lost me.
uh,
You there?
yeah, I'm still there. There you
There
go.
you
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the worst thing you've had happen to you as a race car driver?
Worst thing that has ever happened to me in the race car would be that 2016 year. It would be, so I got the Sportsman at the end of 2015. I raced a handful of races with it then, and then I got the car ready over the winter and whatnot. Went out to Canandaigua for the first time in early April. It was a tour show. It wasn't a dirt tour show. It was some other tour show. But I went out there for the first time, all hot. Kind of driving over my head. It was hot laps, mind you.
Yeah.
So that's the funny part, because coming to the checkered flag, or 1 to go, they gave us the 1 to go, and going into turn 1, and I noticed the guy come up below me, so I gave him the room down low, and I went a little too high, and ended up hitting a wall and flipping over.
Oh, not good, not good.
It was
Did you get
fun.
hurt? Did you get hurt?
Fun.
Did you get hurt at all, or
Not major, not seriously.
no?
I was sore for the next 2 weeks, I'll tell you
Oh
that.
boy. Oh boy.
But it was a fun ride. I'll tell you
Okay.
that.
So Chris, let's talk now. What do you like to do away from the racetrack?
Away from the track. You got to go to work.
Yeah.
You got to do that, obviously, to fund the race car.
Oh yeah.
But I enjoy, just spending time with my kid. I grew up playing hockey, so I like watching the Sabres and whatnot. And I enjoy. I'm not a big football fan, but I enjoy watching it, I guess.
Okay.
Support the hometown team. But other than that, it's just pretty laid back, working on car, doing other stuff, hanging out with people, doing stuff.
Okay. So Chris, when you're at the racetrack, what do you like to eat at the racetrack?
So, a lot of people have that superstition that you're not supposed to eat before your race or after, whatever. I do have superstitions, but it's not with food.
Okay.
But usually it's just a hamburger, French fries, pop.
Okay. Okay. So let's get to that. What is your superstition?
With the superstition I have, and it's been with the family since obviously I was able to know what they were talking about, was green.
Okay.
Which, funny story about the green is obviously you've probably seen pictures of the car I ran this year
Yeah.
had green. So I mean, obviously I had no choice in the matter, but
Yeah.
that's my personal superstition is you're not supposed to have green on your race car or
Yeah.
wear green or anything like that. And it's just kind of funny that that's my superstition, and yet I won the championship
Okay.
with a car that had green on it.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk now. When you get ready to strap into your race car, what helps get you mentally prepared and focused to get into that race car?
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But not disrespectfully, but it's just I like to have a clear mind.
Yeah.
Usually, people will try to come up to me and answer questions, and I'm like, well, I got to get in the car here soon. I kind of don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't like that I get real standoffish before I climb in the car, and then when
Okay.
I climb in the car, I usually tell everyone that's there
Yeah.
before the season or early in the night or whatever. Like, hey, you see me in the car and my visor's down, don't talk to me,
Okay.
because that's what I'll do. I got my whole routine.
Yeah.
My what do you call it? Order of how I have certain
Oh yeah. Yeah.
stuff on, and I just sit there, just try to relax. And when I finally get everything on, I'll shut the visor and I'll just bow my head and
Yeah.
kind of just get my focus, and then I just tell everyone when the visor's down, don't talk to me, don't do anything, don't just let me be. And
Yeah.
obviously when the visor comes up, whatever.
Yeah. So Chris, let's talk now about, okay, do you have a racing nickname?
It's one thing I've never had
Okay.
in my career, in the early parts at least. And then the guy that does my vinyl on my own cars, at least back in 2016, his girlfriend kind of gave me one. It was a relic. I didn't really like it, so it didn't really stick. And then obviously this past year, Matt gave me Miller money, which I still don't fully understand why
Yeah.
or how it came about.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, so me and him have two totally separate, like, in a thought, and on obviously because Matt's new with the racing world, and obviously any racer wants to save money, but there's also stuff in racing that you want to spend money on, and
Oh yeah.
I guess that's where he got it from, because it's not so much that I wanted to spend money.
Okay.
It's more or less I worked for it, and it's nice. It
Yeah.
might not be the best, but it's nice stuff. And
Oh yeah.
again, that if I had to guess, that's more or less why because the beginning of the year I had a brand new open trailer that I
Okay.
had bought over the winter, and then my cousin John had his big fifth wheel enclosed trailer that he
Okay.
doesn't use anymore, and I asked him to buy it, and he graciously gifted it to me. Like I said, it's not the best, but to him it's nice, and it
Yeah.
is a nice trailer.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's kind of how the whole, in my eyes, I think the Miller money came
Okay.
to fruition was not that I wanted to spend big money. I mean, don't we all? But it's just I like to have nice things, and I work
Oh yeah.
for it. And, you know,
Oh yeah. So Chris, let's talk now. Who is all on your racing crew?
ever since from the beginning up until last year, it had only been me and maybe two or three other
Okay.
people.
Okay.
Now I call those two or three people my brothers.
Yeah.
Um, they actually moved down to Tennessee
Okay.
because one of them works at the GM plant.
Okay.
Had worked at the GM plant here locally and got transfer papers down to Tennessee. So, but I
Okay.
mean, I still consider them, my family. Their
Okay.
brothers have helped me out, and
Okay.
they're also race car drivers too, and I've raced against them personally. But I mean, 8 times out of 10, I was at the track by myself
Okay.
prior to last year. Last year comes along, and I got fucking like 20 people.
Okay.
And I was absolutely blown away. It was, a new experience for me because I never
Okay.
had support ever.
Yeah.
And I was also glad to give back in a way because a lot of the drivers that we had last year are either were new
Yeah.
and needed guidance.
Yeah.
And so essentially I was the veteran of the group,
Okay.
if you will,
Okay.
and I'm always happy to, if someone new, like there was a guy pitted across from us this last year that come over. He's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not, but can you help me? We're like, yeah,
Yeah.
like, so, and that's another thing, raised in a family with racing's a family.
Oh
And
yes, it is family oriented sport. Yes, it is.
and very much so. Like, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who the people are around you, they're there for
Oh yeah.
a, and I've always been that way, always will be that way.
Yeah.
If you need help, I'm always there. And it was just nice to actually kind of not worry about a lot on a race night, because obviously I
Okay.
was by myself. I had to worry about fuel. I had to worry about tire pressure. I had to worry about getting the car unloaded and loaded, and then getting everything, all the tools and all this
Oh
other
yeah.
stuff. And that's where the trailer came in handy. All the tools just
Yeah.
stayed there. But I had, and I was just relieved to
Okay.
have that much support this year, and it showed.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk now. Okay, in your race car, what do you have to help protect you from getting hurt in that race car?
Oh, you got your roll cage for one. That's
Okay.
your number one defense, essentially. Then a lot of the rules packages between all the classes, the higher classes, the sportsmen, they more or less require a race car, an actual full containment race car seat.
Okay.
Because there's a difference between a full containment
Yeah.
seat and then the regular,
Yeah.
racing seat. That full containment seat, I will tell you, you can fall asleep in it. But it also protects you a lot better than a normal, just regular old intermediate racing seat. But a
Okay.
racing seat, but the full containment is definitely the way to go. And then
Okay.
you got your obviously your fire suit.
Okay.
You got your helmet, and then you got your Hans.
Okay. So Chris, let's talk now about, okay, what is your 5-year plan with racing?
I don't know. Honestly, I just take it year by year.
Okay.
you know, I'm finally getting back in the open wheel, and the open wheel car, when I drove it 6 years ago now,
Okay.
six, yeah, 6 years ago now. I loved it. I love
Okay.
driving. I think it's so easy to drive. And now that I'm finally coming back around and able to get back into one, I think I want to stick with it.
Okay.
And honestly, take it year by year. But if I had to
Okay.
say about 5 years, I would hope that I would either still be in a regular sportsman, you know, the competitive, the
Okay.
veteran class, well, I guess, if
Yeah.
you will,
Yeah.
because there's a novice class and a regular class. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping in 5 years I can obviously stay out of the novice class, and probably
Yeah.
do a year or two, or probably at least a year in the novice
Yeah.
next year, see where we're at. And if not, hoping maybe the money will be there in 5 years for a small block.
Okay. So what is your 10-year plan with racing then?
To either be in a small block or a big block.
Okay. 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 So Chris, let's talk about now, who is your racing hero? Who is your favorite race car driver that you look up to?
Well, professionally or not professionally?
It's entirely up to you. I'm going to let you take the give me that answer. So
Well, the difference being obviously professionally being NASCAR, unprofessionally being your local.
yeah.
And there's a lot.
Yeah.
Professionally in NASCAR, I was I know, hate me all you want, I was Jeff Gordon fan.
Jeff Gordon's a pretty decent guy. He's a pretty decent guy. Yeah.
I always love like Jeff Gordon. I think that era of NASCAR when him and Dale were together
Oh yeah.
was the best era.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I have a ton of respect for Senior.
Yeah.
I still wish he was here.
Yeah.
I grew up a Gordon fan. Still am a Gordon fan, obviously, if you even know it. And when he retired, it took me a year or two to finally be like, all right, I'll hop on the Chase bandwagon. Ever since, and I'll tell you the exact moment I became a Chase fan was that night at Martinsville when him and Denny got into it. And how he reacted, if you remember that.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Locally, I grew up a Danny Johnson fan, the doctor.
Okay.
And also obviously, my two cousins, I was able to help them, from a young age, and learn the cars.
Oh yeah.
And learn a ton just being around them and going to the races every Friday and whatnot. I always looked up to them. But as far as the big block guys go, I was always a Danny Johnson fan.
Okay. A little something, I don't know if you know this or not, Chris. Jeff Gordon is actually the vice president of Hendrick Motorsports now. Yeah.
I am really glad that he took that position, because I think Rick made a very good choice in choosing him. And I kind of in the back of my head knew it was coming, because obviously, if you probably know, Jeff had a lifetime contract with him.
Yes.
So
yes. Yeah.
I kind of knew in the back of my head that he wasn't going to be in the booth very long.
Yeah.
That he was going to become someone of importance at Hendrick. And I saw the headline in the news reports and whatnot coming out that he was next in line. And I'm like, please be true.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So Chris, let's talk now about who are some of your friends at the racetrack?
Friends and like driver friends?
Driver friends, yeah, driver friends.
There's quite a few. I got me and Cole had a pretty good run last year. We don't talk very much. We're more or less, at the track friends.
Yeah.
We're friends kind of outside, but we don't really hang out outside of the track. But Cole's a good kid. I was looking. I had a ton of fun with him this year.
Okay.
That's one, and then all the guys that were with us last year, I'm
Yeah.
all, good friends with and whatnot.
Yeah.
Some have left, some stayed, for, whatever reason. They're, whatever. But, and I just hope that they know that I'll always be here if they ever need help, the ones that left.
Okay.
As far as you got, obviously, the guy that does my vinyl, he just went down to Florida with his
Okay.
first ever big block.
Okay.
So he's down in Volusia right now. I wish him the best of luck.
Oh yeah.
But I also hang out with him in his own shop too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a couple of street stack guys I'm really good friends with, that I talk to both,
Yeah.
at the track, off the track,
Yeah.
I have quite a few, and obviously a lot of people there know also who I am with.
Yeah. Yeah.
The family also. So
Okay. Okay. So, Chris, okay, do you have any advice for the kids coming up in the racing world to help get them in a race car?
well, I unfortunately didn't have I can't say luxury, but I mean it is. But a lot of the kids, obviously, I see coming in have their dads, get them a go-kart,
Yeah.
start there. And thankfully I dabbled in the go-karting world, and it opened my eyes
Okay.
to where a lot of the big name guys in the
Okay.
big blocks have came from a go-kart,
Okay.
believe it or not, and a lot of local guys too.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you can get your parents behind you, more power to you.
Yep.
It's for sure a bonding
Yeah.
experience between father and son, which
Yeah.
that's with my son at least,
Yeah.
he loves it.
Okay.
But I didn't have that. Obviously I still love my dad, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but he was just one of those parents that didn't really want to see me go the route I did. I guess if
Okay.
I know it's just a touchy subject for me, but
Yeah.
for the kids coming in, parents of young kids especially, get them in a go-kart, teach them everything you know. Don't be afraid to ask for help from other people, because 8 or 9 times out of 10, the people that are parked next to you will help you.
Okay.
At least that goes for the tracks that I've been to.
Okay.
And it's part of why I am who I am,
Yeah.
how I am right now, and with always willing to, if you need something, oh, here,
Yeah.
me as a driver would like to see you out on the track competing rather than having to pack it up and go home early.
Oh yeah.
Because me as a driver sees another car out on the field, whether or not I'm better than you or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I just want to see you out on the track and having fun.
Okay.
Like me.
Yeah.
But like that's what I would say is start your kids out in a go-kart if you can, and stick with
Okay.
it. And the go-kart, them go-karts teach you a ton. I can't even
Yeah.
tell you how much they teach you.
Yeah.
But that would be my number one
Okay.
thing would be get them a go-kart and have fun.
Okay.
But
Thank
if
you
you're
very
not
much.
having fun- But if you're not having fun, that's when you gotta say, all right, maybe it's time to do something else. Because if you're
Yeah.
not having fun, to me, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So thank you very much for being on the racing show with me tonight, Chris, talking to us about your racing career. I'll call you and thank you in person for doing this with me. But I'm going to let you step out. Thank you very much for being on the racing show with me tonight, Chris.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Chris Miller on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube, with me tonight, talking to us about his racing career. Let's get some racing news updates, shall we there? All the drivers are out there. NASCAR is getting ready to kick off their season point standing season this coming weekend at the Daytona 500. So good luck to all them drivers. Fastest so far as going into Daytona 500 weekend so far is I believe it's Michael McDowell, which is pretty cool. Good luck to Michael McDowell and all the other drivers competing in the Daytona 500 this weekend. Also, drag racing is getting ready to kick off here rather soon. A lot of drivers are out there testing, getting things lined up. And I'll tell you what, the crew chief combinations that they've got going into drag racing this year is pretty cool. You got Ron Tobler working with Austin Prock. Yeah, and that's going to be pretty interesting to watch. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting season on the NHRA drag racing season also. And also Angelle Sampe, I believe is her name, and Eddie Krawick are going to be driving Suzuki's this year instead of Buells, which is going to be pretty cool to see them on Suzuki motorcycles in the pro stock bike category. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, just coming on here to do a little racing show news and stuff like that. Let's see what happens kicking off the racing season. A lot of guys are down in Florida getting ready to are racing on the dirt down there. Also, the winners of the dirt for the sprint car stuff was Donnie Schatz the first night. Second night, I believe, now don't quote me on this one. Second night was Sheldon Hohenchild, and the third night was David Gravel. So congratulations to all them World of Oz sprint car drivers that won the kickoff to their season. But you've got a lot of guys down there racing pavement modifieds and stuff like that. So, and good luck to the Bandolero drivers because they're kicking off their season also, their winter season. But for that, Cole Denton picked up the win. He's got, I believe, 2 wins now. So good luck to Cole. Congratulations to Cole Denton, aka Cole Trickle, the number 46 Mellow Yellow Hot Rod in the INX Bandolero Series. Good luck to him this week. Good luck to Aiden Smokey Potter in the number 68 car as he races down there this week. And good luck to Boston Oliver and everybody else kicking off their season also. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Catch you later on another episode of the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification button on this YouTube channel. So have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.